It is great to be back from Ottawa after covering the Canada Day events there, the March of James Top, the protests, and pleasant to see on the internet that we have the Dutch come somewhat copying the blueprint outlined by Canadian truckers, as is quite historically beautiful, as they are currently fighting the globalist elite by blocking off the country to protest some insane nonsense that their government wants to institute. Now, I will sort of back up a bit. You might know if you've watched my videos a lot, I don't like ranting and raving blindly about the globalists and the elites. I think when you do it too unfocused, it tends to dilute the message, and sometimes it's not exactly globalist elites who are doing this and that. It's kind of related. This is 100% the working class uprising against fools or the globalist elite. So let's sort of break down what's happening right now in the Netherlands. They want to get their nitrogen levels down below a certain EU standard. Now, this is actually a not common thing. This is an old debate in the Netherlands, as about 20 years ago they tried to do this as well, and their first plan was just stop building houses to reduce nitrogen levels. And the most shocking thing happened. But when they stopped building houses, everyone sit down, because you're not going to believe this. They actually created a housing crisis. I know, it caused a massive shortage in housing, which created a bigger problem than the nitrogen they were trying to fight. I was as shocked as you are to learn that. Now, what I will say is they then realized, oh damn, and they started building houses again at double the rate. So the sort of nitrogen thing is sort of an old Dutch debate. Now, it doesn't mean there isn't globalists and Klaus Schwab and blah, 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 blah. Now, it's not like Klaus Schwab's getting on the phone like, Zakatza farming and blah, 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 blah. Right? This is the philosophy of globalist elitism. I don't think globalist elitism is directed from the World Economic Forum and these 6 people who are controlling our politicians. No, it's a philosophy that the center-left has sort of adopted, and it's taking down this rabbit hole where the center-left is going further and further down into the radical left. And it's a philosophy of global elitism. And here it is. The Netherlands is farming, and this is bad. This is technocrats, bureaucrats, and leftists imposing utopias climate nonsense on their own people for the purpose of virtue signaling to other technocrats and bureaucrats worldwide. So the Dutch premier was like, I tried to get the nitrogen levels down. I'm so great. Now, I think a couple years ago we did this. There wouldn't be as much of a backlash and protest, but there's all the weight of the COVID nonsense, and everyone's sort of seen how these people work, and the truckers in Canada did a great blueprint of this. So now you have the Dutch farmers understanding how much power they have. They just say, well, no, you're not just going to tell us we can't farm and there can't be farming jobs anymore. Well, we're not taking away all the farming jobs, it's just 15%. Yeah, 15 becomes 50% rather quickly. So the Dutch farmers are saying, listen, this is the leverage we have. We'll blockade the entire country, we'll blockade the supply distributions, and without the farms, no food. So until you reverse this policy, apologize, and meet our demands, no food. If you're going to make rules that are going to starve the country out, and then in 150 years, and at the detriment of our farms and families now, no food now. No food now. If you want to ruin our country, like, this is the nonsense of the globalist philosophy. Is never before, you might have always had roots of what you would say intellectual globalism now, but never really before did you have politicians and leaders of the countries with such open disdain for their own people. And even if they were openly disdainful of their own people, it was sort of a elitist, I am of an upper class, they are the lower class. And if you hated, like someone like Trudeau, who doesn't love Canada at all, he would hate the Canadian pennies, be ew, gross, and like, ugh, look at that farmer from Saskatchewan. His boots are dirty, and I bet they're not even $1,000. But he would have the same disdain for all poor people worldwide. And he wouldn't be crazy enough to hurt his own country, therefore his own interests, for the will of I'm not even sure what they got out of it, just social acclaim. But now you're seeing this in the Netherlands, and now you have the working class. The farmers, you're having everyday people, you're seeing trucks come in, but it's the farmers, and now they blockaded the harbors, and the Dutch need waterways, and you have the fishermen saying, we know where this goes. If they start going to cut the farms, they'll start cutting fishing. and they'll make sure the Africans and the Asians do all the farming and fishing, and we're all on welfare and we're just importing their shit. And they're saying no. And good for them. And they started on July 4th, a great Freedom Day, right after, the Canadian protests. And the Dutch and the Canadians are great friends since 1945, when the Canadian forces liberated the Netherlands from the Nazis. A great day for freedom, great alliance. So this is a really, 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 really good thing. And I hope to God they win. It would be a massive victory to have them back down. The truckers had some very big victories. They got the mandates. They're not taken away. They're suspended. The government's sort of waiting to see if they can ever reimpose them. Had the truckers not done what they did, we'd still have vaccine passports and all that. So there was victories for the truckers, but the Dutch farmers, by the lengths they're going to, quick newsflash if you're the Dutch premier. If no one in your country can eat food, you're not going to last very long. And, it might drive up global whatever, cost. Bring it on. We're already... Listen, guys. The worst economic crisis since the Great Depression is coming, no matter what we do at this point. There's no level we can raise interest rates to curb inflation to the point where it wouldn't cause massive defaults on homes and send people into homelessness. We can take away all the... the smartest thing to do now would be remove every single gas tax worldwide to calm the price of fuel and then reduce the price of everything sort of globally because the fueling costs go down. But our politicians seem dead set committed to a gas tax, except for apparently Doug Ford. And I'll give credit where credit is due. And the one good thing Doug Ford has done is now cutting the fuel tax when it actually matters. But Trudeau has no love for anyone except himself. Looks like the Dutch Prime Minister doesn't really either. So this is a big movement. This is an important moment. And all the best to the Dutch. Sorry I didn't win an orange shirt today. I don't have an orange shirt. So in Canada, that always makes me a racist for not wearing an orange shirt during Canada Day to tell everyone that Canada is bad. But I just don't own an orange shirt because, I don't know, orange isn't like a pretty color or whatever. It just doesn't match my complexion. Something like that. So if you're a Dutch farmer and you listen to this, love and support from Canada. I'll buy you a beer. If you're a Dutch farmer in there and you ever come to Toronto and you're like, I was on the front lines, beer's on me. Go to the Amsterdam Brew House, downtown Toronto, and have a great time. So best of luck, remain peaceful, stay strong, and just know they'll throw everything they can against you, but just stay the course, because once it hits people, there's a limit. If the people can't eat, there's going to be problems. And the policies you are protesting make sure that your people starve in a few generations. So might as well face facts now and fix it, then kick it down the line to the next generation. And good on the Dutch farmers for doing so.